When the first letter arrived at the San Francisco Chronicle, no one imagined that a few sheets of paper could hold the weight of a nightmare. The handwriting was clean and deliberate, the ink pressed firmly, like someone who wanted his words to last forever. "This is the Zodiac speaking." That single line carried more power than any gunshot. In that moment, the story began. Not just a murder case, but a dialogue between a killer and a nation that couldn't look away. Reporters gathered around the letter in silence, realizing they were staring at the thoughts of a man who had already killed and wasn't done yet. The editors argued for hours. Should they print it? Should they hide it? If they ignored him, more people could die. If they obeyed, they would feed his hunger for attention. By dawn, the presses thundered. Millions of homes woke to find fear printed on their doorsteps. Across California, breakfast tables turned into decoding stations. Parents traced the ciphers with shaking fingers, whispering the words out loud as if speaking them might make them make sense. But they didn't. Because the Zodiac wasn't sending messages, he was sending warnings. He didn't want to be caught. He wanted to be remembered. Days passed before anyone cracked the code. Finally, a quiet schoolteacher and his wife sat at their kitchen table late into the night, the room lit only by a flickering bulb. As they connected the letters, one horrifying sentence came into view. "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The words felt unreal. No motive, no ideology, no revenge, just enjoyment. That night, America learned that evil could smile. The fear spread faster than his bullets ever could. The police launched one of the largest manhunts in California's history. Detectives mapped the murders, linked the shell casings, studied handwriting samples, and tracked every typewriter ribbon. But every clue led them into deeper fog. The killer seemed to change shape. New handwriting, new weapons, new voices. The Zodiac didn't just avoid capture, he designed confusion. Every letter was a new mask. Every symbol was a puzzle he knew they'd never solve. In September 1969, he struck again, this time in daylight, proving he didn't need darkness to hide. A young couple, Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell, were picnicking by the calm waters of Lake Berryessa. A figure appeared over the ridge, wearing a black hood and a white crosshair symbol on his chest. He spoke softly, almost politely as he tied their hands. Then he stabbed them again and again. When police arrived, they found his signature carved into their car door. By knife. Cecilia died 2 days later. Brian survived, his words trembling as he described the killer's voice. Calm, rehearsed, almost gentle. It was the calm of someone who saw murder as routine. Just 2 weeks later, in the heart of San Francisco, a taxi driver named Paul Stein picked up a passenger. It was a normal ride on a quiet night, until it wasn't. A single shot ended it. Witnesses saw the man wipe the cab clean, tear off a piece of the driver's shirt, and walk away into the darkness. Moments later, a patrol car passed him. But the radio call had been wrong. They were told to look for a black suspect. The man they passed was white. The Zodiac had just walked right past the law and vanished. Days later, the Chronicle received another envelope. Inside, that same piece of Paul Stein's bloody shirt. The killer had proven who he was. But it wasn't proof that scared people. It was the note that came with it. School children make nice targets. Overnight, fear became policy. Police cars followed school buses. Parents pulled their children from class. Teachers watched the doors as if expecting the devil himself to walk in. The Zodiac had found a new weapon: words. He didn't need to kill to control. He had turned the whole state into his stage. And every scream, every headline, was part of his performance. Meanwhile, detectives filled their walls with maps, photos, red strings connecting faces and locations. They worked day and night, haunted by the same signature symbol: a cross inside a circle. Evidence piled up, but every theory collapsed. It was like chasing smoke. Every time they thought they had him, he changed shape again. The killer wasn't running from the light, he was hiding in it. He wanted to be seen. He wanted everyone to know his name, but no one to know his face. Detective Dave Toschi became obsessed. The man who would inspire movie characters like Dirty Harry and Zodiac devoted his life to the case. He stopped sleeping, stopped smiling. Every letter from the killer felt personal, like an insult carved into his soul. He followed hundreds of leads, interrogated suspects, and watched his hope die one clue at a time. But he couldn't quit, because once you've heard the voice of the Zodiac, you never stop listening for it. One name echoed louder than the rest: Arthur Lee Allen, a strange, intelligent, antisocial man with a fascination for ciphers and violence. He owned a Zodiac brand watch engraved with the same crosshair logo. He lived near the first murder scene. He had once told a friend he wanted to hunt humans for fun. When police searched his home, they found knives, coded books, even blood-stained items. Everything pointed to him, except the evidence. His fingerprints didn't match. His DNA didn't match. The handwriting was close, but not exact. Each time they questioned him, Alan smiled, almost amused. He never confessed, but he never denied it either. And when he died of a heart attack in 1992, so did their strongest lead. Through the 1970s, the letters slowed, but the fear remained. One arrived quoting The Exorcist, another mocking police handwriting experts, then silence. Maybe he was done. Maybe he was gone. But legends don't die, they evolve. The 1980s and 1990s brought new technology. Forensic DNA testing, computers, digital archives. Detectives believed time might finally give them what evidence couldn't. They reopened the envelopes, carefully scraping decades-old saliva from the stamps, scanning fibers, lifting fingerprints invisible to the human eye. Each time they thought they had something, the results came back the same, inconclusive. The samples were too degraded, the killer too careful. The Zodiac had outsmarted even the future. Then came the internet. A new generation took the hunt online. Thousands of amateur sleuths filled Reddit threads and message boards, analyzing old photos, scanning letters, debating theories late into the night. Everyone had a suspect, and everyone believed they were right. But the Zodiac became something more than a man. He became an idea, a riddle that refused to be solved. In 2020, that idea spoke again. A team of codebreakers finally cracked one of his most famous ciphers, the 340 code, after 51 years. The message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber." Even after half a century, his words still mocked the world. It was as if he had written it for the future, knowing someone, somewhere, would one day find it and feel the same chill that California felt in 1969. By 2025, investigators decided to try one last time, using next-generation sequencing, the same technique that caught the Golden State Killer. They retested the Zodiac's evidence, tiny scraps of DNA from old letters and stamps. The process was long, months of silence, until one day whispers began. A viable genetic profile had been found, but the name was sealed, hidden from the public. Officials said they needed more proof, that it could ruin innocent lives. Others believed something darker, that the truth was too close, maybe too connected to people still alive. The press speculated wildly. Some thought the Zodiac had been part of law enforcement. Others said he was long dead, buried under another name. But none of it mattered, because the mystery was alive again, pulsing like a heartbeat through every screen, every podcast, every headline. Decades after the killings, his symbol still haunts the world. A simple circle with a cross, drawn by a hand that never forgot its rhythm. It's printed on shirts, tattooed on skin, sprayed on alley walls. His voice lingers in documentaries, in podcasts, in the quiet breath before a true crime host says his name. He didn't just kill people, he changed how the world looked at killers. Before him, murderers hid. After him, they performed. He showed them that terror could be entertainment, that mystery could outlive justice. He turned evil into art, and that's what made him dangerous. Every few years, new evidence surfaces. A photograph, a confession, a partial DNA match. Every time, the world leans closer, waiting for closure that never comes. Maybe that's how the Zodiac wanted it. Maybe he knew that being caught would end his story, and he wasn't done being remembered. Some say he's gone, buried and forgotten. Others believe he lived an ordinary life after his crimes, shopping for groceries, watching TV, smiling at neighbors who never knew who he really was. Maybe he saw the movies, read the books, and laughed quietly at the versions of himself the world invented. Because in the end, that's what he wanted, to become something eternal. The Zodiac understood a truth that chills every detective to this day. Death ends a life, but fear endures. He didn't chase fame, he built it. He used fear like paint and chaos like brushstrokes. He wasn't just a man. He was a mirror reflecting our obsession with evil, our hunger for answers, our fascination with darkness. That's why his story refuses to die. It's not just about the murders. It's about what happens when evil learns to speak, and we keep listening. Even now, in quiet corners of the internet, someone is still trying to solve his codes. Someone is still zooming in on blurry photos, still connecting lines across decades. They don't realize they've already lost, because the Zodiac's greatest victory wasn't in killing. It was in being remembered. And as long as people still whisper his name, as long as that circle and cross still make hearts race, he's still here, watching, smiling, undefeated. So when another envelope appears, or another cipher surfaces online, and you feel that familiar chill creep up your spine. Remember, some stories don't end. They echo, they breathe, they wait. And somewhere, in the static of history and the silence of midnight, that voice still whispers through time. This is the Zodiac speaking.
Subscribe to Dark Truths for more chilling unsolved mysteries. Click the bell icon to get notified whenever a new episode drops.